And in those days, the doctors knew so little about the human body. It's quite scary what they didn't know. I don't know if anybody's read a book called 1700, but if you haven't, don't. You know, it's scary what the doctors didn't know. But they studied for... Hey, you've actually read it? But they, you know, they studied for 14 years, so they had the Latin. Their Latin was impeccable. Dominus vobiscum ad absurdum. I know what you mean. He's got a head cold. Yellow fever. Hot tar. So they came up with the idea of hand-feeding hot tar to the dying victims, probably hastening their death. And they used to burn tar in barrels downtown on the corners, which they also did in New Orleans. Then once a day they'd bring out a cannon on Broughton Street, fire a cannonball down the middle of Broughton Street. I guess the only way that cannonball would have got rid of yellow fever is if it would have killed a mosquito. Bring on the mosquitoes! Bring on the cannonballs! This, when I first came here, I was told this little child's playground was a famous dueling area. Although I said dueling the other night, and a woman said, "Do you mean throwing jewelry at each other, dear?" And I said, "No, shooting each other." And she said, "We call that dueling over here, dear." Okay, shooting each other. I thought, you're kidding, this tiny... So I looked it up, I found a PDF file this thick. I mean, thousands of guys fought here. Who fought, who died, why they fought. But the name that popped out at me was Button Gwinnett. I don't know if you know that name, but he signed the Declaration of Independence. He was a statesman and a politician in Georgia. He was in a feud with a guy called Lachlan McIntosh, who he sent into battle with the Spanish who owned Florida at that time. McIntosh blew it, so these guys were at loggerheads. Now here's two brilliant men, can't sit down and mediate their differences. They said, "Get down the dueling area, mate, you're finished." And they both came down here and shot each other in the leg, in the thigh actually. And the bullets in those days were so lead-rich, they'll poison your blood in about 4 hours. So they have to chop your leg off to save your life. And McIntosh said, "Yeah, take it, I've got another one." And Button Gwinnett said, "No, I'm going dancing Saturday night, leave it alone." He was a Mumbo King here, obviously. Whatever. But he wouldn't let him chop it off. Now that's Friday night. Monday morning he keeled over and died. So Button Gwinnett's the most famous guy who fought and died in this little dueling area and who's buried in Colonial Park, 1777. 1878 is when they banned dueling because two young cadets fought each other. Teenage cadets, they died. There was an outcry from the locals. The city said no more dueling, no more killing, just send the guy a nasty email next time or a vicious text message or unfriend him on Facebook. I know where you're going. You're cruel. This is true. I've been here for 3 years. I've never seen a child playing in this playground. I've seen kids dueling, but I've never seen a child playing. You think it'd be... You think it'd be exciting. I'll see you at the playground behind the cemetery at 4 in the morning. Bring your goat, we're going to have a party.